From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LA with a special live broadcast on Afternoons today for April 19th, 2022. And in tonight's recording, we're going to go into a question and answer session. You have questions about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022? Well, I'll be answering them live on air as this channel celebrates its 2-year anniversary. Three stimulus checks have now landed. A fourth stimulus check has landed. $6,500 made executive action law by Joe Biden March 31st. A $15,000 to $80,000 check became law March 4th. I'll show you how to get it in tonight's recording. Then an MSC check of $24,000. The huge checks are now law and been paid out. I'll show you how to become a member and get those incredible checks over the next 1-hour broadcast. But we'll be turning also to the Build Back Better Act, the fourth stimulus recon that's currently in the Senate and has huge checks in there as well. $15,000 to $80,000 at issue. We'll be touching over those incredible checks and the vote on the Build Back Better Act in this recording. Then we'll be turning to sixth stimulus, the latest stimulus package caused by Putin. It's to battle recession and what you need to know across the board. We'll be looking back at what SS300 has in store for us. That's to raise your benefits up if you are on benefits of SSI and SSDI. And then we'll be looking at the future of the money at issue later this month. But over the next 1-hour broadcast, a special edition of Afternoons LA today, I'll be answering your questions on air. My focus today is to answer your questions about these incredible third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh stimulus packages. Plus, I'll have a preview tonight's Evenings LA in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Major announcement at $4 million more student loan debts are now forgiven tonight. It's breaking in just the last few minutes. But from the shores of Santa Monica, California today, it's a big afternoon, a special edition, where I'm on air answering your questions in the live chat. The chat is open to subscribers, so get in there, get ready to post your comments, and I'll be answering them today. Live on air from the shores of Santa Monica, California. It's a big day with a lot of money. Are you ready for the breaking news? I'm ready to deliver it. From the shores of Santa Monica to the shores of your home, it's Afternoons, and the big exciting money at issue heats up right now, right here on Afternoons. And good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. For April 19, 2022, we're doing a special live broadcast of Afternoons LA when I go over your incredible questions. So jump in the live chat if you're a subscriber and get ready to post your questions. People said, I have some questions to ask. Well, I have some questions to answer. And I'll be doing that over the next 1-hour broadcast. Stay with me throughout this incredible broadcast because we have a lot going on. Plus, we'll preview that student loan debt forgiveness announcement on Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock. You do not want to miss that show. It's a major recording. First, have you become a member? Make sure you become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The link to become a member is at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. 3 checks have now landed. Those checks are now law. Viewers have gotten those checks. If you have questions about those checks as well, I'll be answering them in the live chat. A, B, and C. A is a $6,500 check, home weatherizing grant check, made law by executive action Joe Biden. Took it out of the fourth stimulus recon in late March, now being paid out across the board. Check B, now law as well. It was in fourth stimulus recon, made law by executive action, $15,000 to $80,000 check. And then check C, now law as well. In fact, it's been law since early 2021. It is an MSC check. We'll go over those incredible checks in this recording. Plus, if you have questions about that student loan debt forgiveness, I'll go over that as well. 7 stimulus, no less than 4 major developing details on the student loan debt forgiveness has happened. And tonight we have another 4 million student loans that have been forgiven since last night. Oh boy, if you have questions, I'm ready for those questions as well. Plus, if you have any questions about inflation, interest rates, the Federal Reserve, your I and SSDI, the housing industry, Wall Street. I'll be answering your questions in the live chat as well. And with that, let me jump right into the live chat and grab some questions to start today's broadcast, a special edition on Afternoons LA. Where would I get the information about the student loan debt happening? Melissa, great question on that front. So the student loan debt information is published by the Department of Education. And in fact, Melissa's question was my question on tonight's Evenings LA. I actually feature the same question Melissa has on Evenings LA. You think the check is in the mail to Melissa for giving me that great question. Why did this happen? Just minutes ago, the federal government announced that they're forgiving another 3.8 million loans by students on top of the loans that were forgiven the day before and the day before on the shelf. There's been something happening every single day this week. Whose loans are these? The announcement by the Department of Education said that they're changing the language of the way student loans are written so that suddenly 4 million loans are forgiven. Wow. And my answer was, what did they change? Do I know? I don't know. So that's literally all they told us. And of course, the way I would find the answer, and you would as well, is going to the Department of Labor. The situation on the student loans forgiven so far are the following. Individuals who became disabled after graduation, individuals who went to work in the nonprofit sector, individuals who went to work in the public sector. Then, if you've been defrauded by your university, your debts are going to be forgiven. That's all done at the Department of Education as well. Finally, if your debts were in default, they're being put back into good standing. There's actually a lot written about that one. That one actually has a whole department that does that. So very fast, start with the Department of Education and go out from there, and you'll find that answer across the board. But great question for Melissa. Let me jump back in the live chat. You have questions across the board, jump in there, and I'm ready to answer them. Let me see some incredible other questions right now. Where can I get the weatherizing check and the homeowner's loan? Says Barbara. So Barbara has a question about check A and a question about check B. So check A is the home weatherizing grant check, and check B is the homeowner's grant check. So great move by Barbara. She knows the name. First, check A, she had it right. That's the homeowner's weatherizing grant check. And check B is the homeowner's grant check. Where do you find it? In the newsletter. The newsletter is delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. Let me explain what you see and how it arrives. So, you receive YouTube alerts throughout the day when something like a new video is playing, like this video. In fact, I've set up, I think, about 5 alerts for this video. So you're going to start to see alert for this video in the next, actually 5 minutes from now. So if you get alert about this video in the next 5 minutes from now, you know you have your YouTube alert set up right. Now, at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Monday through Friday, there's another YouTube alert goes out. It's 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. That's the time change. And that's generally almost on the money, right on the money, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, is a YouTube alert. And the first line at the title of the YouTube alert says, an LALATE post, new LALATE post. The alert is sent out by YouTube, youtube.com. In there, the first line says LALATE newsletter and has the date. The next line has the wheat, the corn, and the oil prices today. And then right in there is check A. It'll say the $6,500 home weatherizing grant check. Right below that in the newsletter has check B. It'll say $15,000 to $80,000 homeowners, the whole long name, grant check. It won't say check A, it won't say check B. It may say A period, and then I'll have the whole name out there. And there you go. That is how you get it. You're going to click the links that are in the newsletter for check. You're going to click the link that is for check A in the newsletter. And then if you want to do check B, you're going to click the link for that one. There you go. Incredible question. Thank you, Barbara, for that great question across the board. Let me jump back in the live chat. If you're joining me just right now, you're looking at a special edition of Afternoons LA where I answer your questions live on air. People said, I have a lot of questions to ask. Well, bring them. And I'll answer them live on air. Let's see some great questions. Oh, it's flying. How do you get the checks? Direct deposit? No. So for Caitlin, do you get direct deposit for the checks? That's sort of a double-ended question. So let me answer Caitlin's question. If you pounce and apply for the checks, A, B, and C, then the way you generally get them is by direct deposit. That's between you and the provider, by the payor. Now, if you don't pounce and do anything, you're not going to get anything by direct deposit. So I think that Caitlin was basically asking, once you apply, how do you get the check? Yeah, by direct deposit usually, because they want you to get the funds right away. They don't want you sitting around. But great question across the board. Let me jump back into the live chat and answer some more of your questions right now. Hey, there's Rachel says, I love you, LA. Well, thank you, Rachel. There is Carla. When do we go and apply for the loans? Carla has an interesting question. When do we go and apply for the loans? The answer is, I have no loans. There are no loans on this channel anymore. The last loan featured on this channel was the EIDL loan of 2020. So check A, not a loan. Check B, not a loan. Check C, not a loan. They're grants. It's important to understand the difference. A grant is a check that is paid to you and is not income. It's not taxable. Does not disqualify you from benefits. A loan is something that they give it to you and then you got to give it back. And you have to do a credit check. None of these checks are loans. In fact, nothing in Build Back Better Act is a loan. Now, she's referring to student loans, which I'm thinking maybe she's referring to student loans. If she's referring to student loans, where do we find about the loans? Department of Education. And if anyone finds a little bit more about it, send me the private message. I'm going to be researching as well because we started with one item, then two, then three, then four. Yeah, it's been a lot on the student loans in just a few days. First, taking your loans, the first announcement from the White House was in the last 7 days that your loans no longer have to be repaid by May. Now they don't have to be repaid till September. Then, if you're defrauded by a university, they can be forgiven. Then, if they're in default, they can be put back in a good standing. And now, this strange $3.5 million of extra loans changed tonight and now forgiven. What are they? It was such a breaking news story that I literally saw just seconds ago, and I featured on Evenings LA tonight, and I actually said, as one viewer just asked, where do you find that? I don't know. In fact, the article didn't even tell us how they were forgiven. So I'll have that tomorrow on this channel. That's breaking news just minutes ago. That's how I give you details when they come in on the fly. Caitlin, does anyone know where you apply for the checks? So, Caitlin, interesting question, and also interesting the way she postures the question. So let's go the way that Caitlin postures the question. She's asking the chat room, not me, who's on air, live, those, answering questions, how to get the checks. a little disrespectful. The host is on air. She's like ignoring that I'm here. I'm just kidding, Caitlin. I'll like ignore you. Can anyone else answer my question? Now, I'm just kidding, Caitlin. The reason why I bring up Caitlin's example is very important. 99.99% of the time, I will say to you, do not ask the chat room to answer your questions. Just don't. Because 25% of the time, I'm not even giving a percentage to it. Many of the times, they will get it wrong. Many of the times, they'll get it wrong. Because these packages are confusing. What they will get right is if you ask them, where do we find the checks? And they'll tell you City Hall, City House Authority, County Hall. They'll get that stuff right. Or they'll say, open the newsletter, and they'll explain to you where to get the newsletter. They'll show you where the membership, they'll show you where the community page is. But when you ask the question to the room, it's not a good idea. It's generally not a good idea. Why? I'm going to show you an example why it's a bad idea. Sometimes the question's phrased vaguely. Someone will say something like, for stimulus, what is it law? And someone will say, it's not law. And someone will say, it is law. Why are we having conflicting answers among the viewers? Because it's actually right. The forced stimulus that's in Congress, the bill, is not law. But Joe Biden took check A out of the bill and did it and made it law by executive action. I think I said that slow enough. And then check B was in the bill, and Joe Biden made it law by taking it out of the bill and doing it by executive action. So my example there is that just don't ask the room questions because you may not get an accurate answer. It just really sets you up for confusion. Um, let's answer a question from Sean in the live chat. If you join me for the special edition of Afternoons LA, opened to subscribers and members. If you have a question, jump in the live chat. Anything you want to ask about third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Okay, so Sean asks a very common question. How are they talking about the fifth, sixth, and seventh when they've not done the fourth? Okay, Sean is a member, and this is deeply troubling to me. This is deeply troubling to me. You know why it's troubling to me. If you're in the live chat, why do you think this is troubling to me, Sean's comment? He's a member, and that makes me very troubled. Why do you think this troubles me? Jump in the live chat if you think that's right. If you know why I think I'm troubled, I'll answer. I'll see if anyone got it right in a second. Sean's question about fourth, fifth, and sixth and seventh. Sean, what's important to know is that stimulus packages do not go one at a time. They do not go one at a time. I've said that literally every single video since 2020. And needless to say, someone says it almost every single day. The way I number stimulus packages on this channel is a uniqueness to this channel. I coined the expression third stimulus. I coined the expression fourth. I coined the expression fifth, sixth, and seventh. I coined the expression. How else do I name the stimulus packages? Blue, green, purple, I could. Apples, oranges, pomegranates, I could. I think that would make people more confused. So I use a numbering system. Now, every now and then someone says, you got to finish third before you get to fourth. No, you don't. They overlap. They've always overlapped. Third is happening at the same time as fourth, is happening at the same time as seventh. Fifth has not started up, and sixth is about to start up. So the answer to the first part of Sean's question is, why are they doing one when they haven't? Why are they doing more than one stimulus package at the same time? They've always done that. Third happens at the same time as the fourth. This happens at the same time as the seventh. Fifth hasn't started up, which is for seniors and benefits. And then the other item, which is six, hasn't started up yet, but expected to start up right away. Now, let's go to the second part of Sean's comment. And I said to you, if you're in the live chat, tell me why you think I'm deeply troubled by his second part of his comment. If you're in the live chat, if you posted, see if you know why I was deeply troubled for the second part of his comment. The reason why I was deeply troubled by the second part of his comment was that as a member, he did not even understand that fourth stimulus is law. This is where it gets very troubling. You're a member. You get the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It has in the membership newsletter 3 checks that are law. Every video on this channel goes over these checks, A, B, and C, which are law. And A and B are fourth stimulus law. The graphic says they're law. And he's asking, when are they going to become law? Now, he could be referring to Congress fourth stimulus as opposed to executive action fourth stimulus. But what's important to understand is that as a member, you really got to catch up. You got to catch up and you got to stay caught up. Otherwise, if you stay behind, you get confused. Check A. Is a fourth stimulus check made law on March 31st? Check B. Is a fourth stimulus check made law on March 4th? And they're in the membership newsletter Monday through Friday. Have you become a member? Become a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. Let me jump back into the live chat and answer some more of your incredible questions across the board. And the comments started to fly a second ago. Let me jump in there as well. Megan, for fourth stimulus eligibility based upon your 2020 taxes or 2021 filing, please help and guide me. A great question. So, Megan's question is, for fourth stimulus, which tax return is it going off of? That is a great question from Megan. Let's go over check A, B, and C. For check A, B, and C, she's asking, is it going to go off of 2020 or 2021? So it should not and really cannot go off of 2021 because the 2021 tax return was just due yesterday. So For A, B, and C, it should not really go off of 2021. Let me give an example for Megan when you, Megan or someone else, wants it to go off of 2021. Here's the example. It's been this way since day one of this channel. In 2020, as a single individual, you made $90,000. So I make the recording and I say, go get check A if you make 75,000 less single individual. And you're like, darn it, I made 90,000 in 2020. I don't qualify. And you think that when you go apply, they're going to reject you because you made too much money in 2020. Probably going to happen. Absolutely probably going to happen. Now, 2021, you took a financial bath. You only made $40,000 that year. You took a big hit. The prior year you made 90,000. In 2021 you made 40,000. Now you qualify. In this scenario, you want to show them the 2021 tax return. So my answer to you is that if you're applying for like check A and B or C, they're likely to just ask for the 2020, and you're fine probably giving it if it falls within the income qualification. If it disqualifies you because you made too much money, then you got to show them the 2021 tax return. We had that example a lot I think it was in a year and a half ago, where some people qualified for things and then suddenly they didn't. I think it was the case of the children, where people would not get the children's check because they made too much money, but then suddenly they did not make as much money the next year and they do qualify for the children's check. I said to the viewers, get the tax return on file right away. Get on file right away as quickly as you can, because they will go off of the most recent tax return. In the case of the children's check, you want to show them that you fall for that income zone. So that's the mindset for Megan. Now let's go to the Forced Stimulus Build Back Better Act, which she may have been referring to as well. What will the Forced Stimulus Build Back Better Act go off of? It will clearly go off of the 2021, because by the time Build Back Better Act becomes law, it's going off the most recent tax return. Great question, and thank you. That is the virtues of having a live chat with Q&A. It's great questions like that I would never think to bring up in a recording. That is where you really get the benefit of interaction with viewers. So thank you, Megan, for that great question. Let me jump back in the live chat. Happy birthday to La Costa. It's La Costa's birthday, so congratulations. Caitlin, where do I apply for the check? So Caitlin, you want to become a member, the link's at the top of the channel, pinned comment, and then get the newsletter and then pounds. Holly and Bradley Owens. When are they supposed to get our check if we have a representative payee is basically the question. So, again, Holly and Bradley, if you do not pounce, you do nothing other than stand by the mailbox, you're getting Zippo at the moment. You're getting nothing at the moment. To get check A and B and C, you have to do something to get it. And the representative payee can do it for you, or you can do it, presumably, as well, if you have a representative payee. But if the representative payee doesn't do anything, or you don't do anything to get check A or B and C, the representative payee is not getting anything. You got to pounce to get these big checks. Let's jump in the back of the live chat, see other questions across the board. Happy birthday, La Casa. Anyone else have questions? Jump in the live chat. You're watching a special edition of Afternoons LA live on air when I'm answering your questions about the checks that you want to get. Melissa had a great point. They're not truly numbered. Yeah, Melissa has a really good point. So for purposes of the stimulus packages, they're not truly numbered. It's not like Congress got a stamp and said, stimulus package number 3, stimulus package number 7. That's not how they're numbered. I gave them a numbering system. And in giving them a numbering system, that doesn't mean you do 4 before 7, or you have to stop 4 to do 7. No. I just separate them out. I can call them pink, blue, and green, or I can call them apples and oranges. It's just the way I differentiate for your purposes on this channel. Now, let's go back in the live chat. If you have other questions, if you join me, this is a special edition of Afternoons LA where I'm answering your questions live on air. And personally, do me a favor. If you watch another video later today and someone says, I got questions, no one ever answers my questions, because say to them, Elliot had a live video today and he answered your questions. So there you go. Let's see some more of the questions. Where are our stimulus checks monthly, says Patricia. So, Patricia, you got to pounce and get the checks. You got to pounce and do it. You got to pounce and apply. Check A, check A, B, check C. I'm not going to repeat that again because obviously what the importance of a live chat is to answer new questions that people have across the board. Become a member, get that incredible newsletter across the board. Let me see some other questions about the issue as well. Everyone wishing La Casa a good birthday. What's important to understand is that across the landscape of where we are tonight, we have their overlapping issues happening. We have SS300, which I haven't seen any questions about yet, which is the raising your benefits up based upon inflation. And where's that inflation tracking? We'll have more about that tonight on Evenings LA in prime time. That inflation is tracking a little bit too hot, and the way to deal with it is raising the interest rates. But where will inflation track by the time that Joe Biden makes a swap on coal and inflation? We'll analyze it as well tonight. Then more student loan debt has been forgiven. Every night we're going to another group of student loan debt forgiven. First student loan debt forgiven for people who were defrauded by the universities no less than 3 days ago, and now 3 million more student loan debt forgiven as well. The housing industry heading into recession, or already in recession. Other analysis tonight in prime time and the Evenings LA. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. With mortgage rates at record high, 5%. What do you need to know? Well, as we go into a big commercial break, make sure you become a member. The link is at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Then get the incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. After the commercial break, we'll be going over more about your incredible questions. So drop them during the commercial breaks, become a member, and right after that commercial break, we'll go over more about your questions about third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh stimulus. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. I'll see you back in 60 seconds.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues in the Big Afternoons broadcast from April 19, 2022. This is a live special edition, and for the first time on Afternoons LA, we're live and I'm answering your questions. It's a special edition as this channel celebrates its 2-year anniversary, April 25th. This channel launched with me initially answering people's questions on air about EIDL, PUA, PPP, and stimulus as well. And I learned from viewers' questions at the time. Then, in earlier videos, I was actually taped, but also answering the questions. That's how the initial success of this channel came. How did it come? People asked me very complicated questions about EIDL. I had to figure out the answer, and then I found it, and I made that recording. Suddenly I realized that by making that recording based upon that answer to that viewer's question, I helped a lot of viewers. Then I got tougher questions. As the tougher questions kept on coming in, I kept on answering them and helping more viewers. It continued to grow. Suddenly people looked to me to solve their problems for EIDL, EIDL loans, PUA, PPP, and similar items across the board. Your tough questions in those earliest days were what made this channel. People nowhere on the map were answering people's questions. Let's make it very clear. No one, repeat, no one on YouTube or any social media platform was answering people's questions. They were just telling you what the universe of the environment was at the time. My job was actually get you their EIDL approved, your PUA approved, your UI approved, your PPP approved. My job was to get it approved, but to get it approved, I had to figure out the answers to your questions. So you delivered me really tough questions. It's like this one viewer who just offered me a really tough question, said, which tax return for stimulus? That's a great question. For people who ask me questions that have been answered 9,000 times on camera, over and over again, we take a step back. We don't improve. We get backwards. That's the type of viewer who says, what day is it land in my bank account? Is it coming by direct deposit, mail, check? If you do nothing, you're not getting anything. And that's been made on this recording on this channel no less than 13 times a day for over 7 months. So someone that's new to the channel, I understand that, but someone that's long-standing, you gotta ramp up. And the harder the questions are, the more money you get. The harder and the more sophisticated you are, requires you to be up to date on the videos. Watch the videos straight through. And with that, let me jump back in the live chat and answer your questions. You're just joining me right now. And I'm answering your questions about any stimulus packages that you have. Ask a really tough question. Don't ask a very simple question like whether the vote has happened or whether it's direct deposit or mail check. Those are simplistic questions. Ask the tough ones. I'm ready to pounce. Everyone's wishing a wonderful, beautiful birthday to La Costa. Christine says, LALATE, you're the best. Well, I appreciate that. Jump in the live chat right now and post your questions for anything that you need to ask. Deborah has a great comment. I wish they would finish the fifth stimulus so we can go back to work full time and not be punished on SSI. She has a great comment. I love that comment. Someone asked me that the other day. Why does Joe Biden not do fifth stimulus right away? Why does Joe Biden not swap that COLA for inflation right tonight and give you that extra $300? I don't know. There's things like that that makes no sense to me. Now, you'll see tonight on the News LA, I have new breaking news tonight. How the White House has been told by its inside advisors in the White House to get back on point with domestic agenda. Everyone has big sympathy for Ukraine. Of course, I do as well. But the sentiment in the White House is get back on the agenda about the domestic agenda right away. Midterm elections are right around the corner. And talking about giving missiles to Ukraine is growing tiresome among the U.S. electorate. They got to hear you're helping them. And you're going to see more about what J.P. Morgan says at J.P. Morgan Chase about where this economy is going. It's very problematic. And that is why you need to tune in tonight on Evenings LA. It's a big show tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Let me jump back in the live chat and answer your some incredible questions, whatever questions you have. What bill is the loan forgiveness in? Theodore, that's a great question. So the student loan debt forgiveness is not going by Congress. Great question. So 7 stimulus, student loan debt forgiveness, is not going by Congress. It's going by the Department of Education. Earlier in this video, I had some great questions about student loan. I think it was like 2 questions already. And the questions were, how do I find this? Where do I get it? Department of Education, their website. And I'm going to look for it as well because I see now there's a big demand for viewers asking that. And you've seen what's going on. Tonight on Easy Light, I'm going to go over another thing the White House forgave another 3 million students' debts just in the last 24 hours. The announcement was half an hour ago, so it's brand new news. Where do you find it? I'm going to try to find it as well for you. It's at least at the Department of Education, the federal U.S. Department of Education. But where specifically, we'll find it together as a family and see what details we can see. Let me jump back in the live chat and answer some of your great questions. Thank you, Theodore, for that nice question. Cindy, I know I probably should ask, but is there sending another check for SSI and SSDI? So Cindy, thank you for that question. So one of the things that was fascinating when this channel launched on April 25th, 2022, was that there were no videos for SSI and SSDI. There was no videos for anyone on benefits. And I was the first to do that. And I made a video that said, as to the first stimulus check, and as to the proposed second stimulus check, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, you get one. It sounds like such a simple video to make, but I saw something happening before I made the video. Somewhere in some universe, people who are on benefits thought they don't get a stimulus check. I don't know why. So I made the video. I said, you get a stimulus check. It became the most watched video for a channel of that size at that time in the financial news space ever. The channel had about 1,000 subscribers, maybe 500 subscribers. And the video got nearly, I think it was 5 million views. It was astronomical. It's astronomical. We've never had a video ever as big as ever since. And that was because people thought that if you're on benefits, you don't get anything. Wrong. Now, what's important to understand is that since then, the landscape of videos has changed. And some people have now tailored their videos to just SSI and SSDI. And that has been detrimental because guess what? Now people on SSI and SSDI have somehow been told by other channels that they get their own check. There's no separate check for you. There's no separate check that you get and people not on benefits get. And that is the result of channels sort of pandering to that type of viewer to get you drawn in, saying you're getting your own specific check. You get a check like everyone else gets it. And you get it because you're within the income zone. You're fine because you're less than 75,000, single individual, married couple less than 150,000. You're fine, you get it. But you don't get a separate check, you just get a check with everyone else. And as to check A, B, and C, let me address that situation because this is very, very important. You get those checks as well, but you got to apply. I've had viewers who are on SSI who own a home, got in that $6,500 check. I've had viewers who are on SSDI get $66,000 of check B. And I've had countless viewers get over $25 million of check C who are on SSI and SSDI all the time. So that was a great question. Let me jump back into the live chat and interact with you. If you have questions across the board, you're watching a special live edition of Afternoons LA live from Santa Monica, answering your questions. Oh, what did I just do? That looks a little weird, doesn't that? Yeah, that looks better. Thank you. Let me. Now we don't have anything moving. Let me jump back in the live chat and interact with you. If you have questions about any of the stimulus packages, first, second, or third, jump, or fourth, or fifth, or sixth, seventh, jump in the live chat. I'll interact with you right now. All right. Diane says, Ellie is so sweet. Well, that's very nice. Cynthia says, good evening, Ellie. Well, thank you, Cynthia. Good evening to you. Holly and Bradley said, is there a separate check for SSI and SSDI? There's not a separate check, but you qualify for a check if you pounce. There's another comment coming in, but I can't see it. It's behind someone else. Let's see if I move down the screen. Ann says, be right back. Ann, you're leaving in the middle of the video? Melissa says, I do think we are in a recession. Have you seen the cost of food? And then a comment right behind that. So Melissa has a very interesting comment. And I actually feature Melissa's subject on Evenings LA tonight on prime time. The price of food. She said, I think we're in a recession. Have you seen the price of food? Now that's interesting. Here Melissa's actually getting the terminology reversed. In the case of a recession, usually you don't have inflation. Meaning inflation is when price of goods goes up. She said, have you seen the price of bread go up? That's inflation. Inflation is when things go up in price. Gasoline, have you seen it going up? That's inflation. What is recession? Recession is when generally inflation is not happening, meaning the prices are flat. The consumer demand is flat. No one's buying anything. Businesses aren't making money. How do we determine recession? It means the economy is not growing. It's the gross national product, the GDP. If it's flat or negative, meaning it's shrinking, it means the economy is getting smaller, business is shrinking. That is recession. Now, here's what I'm teaching on tonight's Evenings LA. It's like everything's been queued up for tonight's broadcast. Evenings LA go over that this is going to be a recession like any other. That's what Jamie Dimon is signaling if we go in recession. He's not saying we are in recession. I want to qualify that. But we also had the war session comment last week, that this is like a war with a recession. Why? Because normally recessions do not have inflation. Normally recessions do not have consumer confidence. At the moment, we still have consumer confidence and we have inflation, but we also have recession. And we only have two industries in recession. I believe that all the industries will be in recession by 2022 for 2 years. 2023 for 2 years. Let me jump back in the live chat and interact with you. And here we go. How are you supposed to pounce? You're supposed to pounce by applying to get the checks. That was a question for Holly and Bradley. What if you don't have a bank account, says Clifford? That's an interesting comment. So if you want to get check A, B, and C, you have to be paid. So yeah, you have to have an account. You have to have an account to cash the checks. Unless the organization that's paying you check has a way to do it otherwise than that. But actually, you have to have an account. My husband's on SSI. He got a raise in January. Is going to be another raise, says Laura. So Laura has a great question. Got a raise on SSI. Is there going to be another raise? What I'm going to do for Laura and the rest of you is explain why he got a raise so you can answer the question for yourself. Your benefits, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, every December, go through an analysis. In December, they look at the benchmark, currently COLA. And if COLA is a positive number, larger than 0, like 1, then they apply that benchmark to your benefits. Let's go over an example. Last December, why did her husband's benefits go up? Because COLA came in at 5%. So they took your benefits, let's say the check was $100, and they times it by 5%, your benefits went up 5% to $105 from $100. Pretty simple. Not just that month, not just that year, but lifetime. That's how your benefits work. This December, the same thing again. Let's say December, the COLA is 10%. Then you would go up another 10%. On top of that 5% your husband went up last December. Yeah, that's great. Isn't it great? Now, the concept of SS300 is to swap COLA for inflation because inflation is a bigger number. COLA is not going to be a bigger number again this end of this year, and it won't be a big number for many, many years to come. That is why you want to swap COLA for inflation, and that is the concept featured tonight on Ease LA. Hopefully now you understand why his check went up, and that's for everyone on benefits. Now you understand why checks go up. It's based upon the benchmark. Let me jump back in the live chat. Wow, there's a lot of people in the live chat. You're watching a special edition of Afternoons LA live on air when I'm answering your questions in the live chat across the board. Barbara, our gas prices never went down. Yeah, they are not gone down. Well, let's go over the national AAA average shows at 410 or 405, so it's down so small you can't notice it. But that's interesting. Riviera's World. So there's nothing for people on SSI? Actually, I'm incorrect. I've been covering that all throughout the recording. There is check A, check B, and check C for people on SSI. Let's go jump into the live chat as well. What if you don't own a bank account? Oh, I already answered that for Clifford. Now, here's what's important to understand is that when I cover something that's happening now, you should never extrapolate to what I say as bad news about something else. Let me go over what happened just now with one of the viewers. So one of the viewers, I was just going over something right now. Let's say it was check A, B, and C. And the viewer said, so they're not passing Build Back Better Act is basically what you're saying. I didn't say that. I'm just describing the status quo. I'm just describing the current situation. The current situation, when I throw up a graphic like this, check A, B, and C, doesn't mean there's anything else than what I'm showing you. It doesn't mean that the Build Back Better Act isn't happening. Doesn't mean that the sixth stimulus package isn't happening. Doesn't mean that the fifth stimulus package isn't happening. When I show you one thing, don't extrapolate it as negative statements about something else. If there's something negative happening, I say it. On News LA Tonight, I say that I don't know what's going on with Germany and France with that sixth stimulus, but the White House will likely do it themselves, but I wish I knew what was going on with Germany. Also, I talk about extensively about the price of gasoline, what Joe Biden hasn't done with that, and the wheat and grain. I talk about things negative when they're negative, or at least economically not positive. But don't take words that I say about a particular package right now, stimulus package, as reason that something else is not passing. No, 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 no. I'll tell you something's not passing. And that's important to remember. Let me jump back in the live chat. You're watching a special edition of Afternoons LA live on air when I'm answering your questions. And do me a favor that if you watch another video tonight and someone says, I have a question, well, he was live on air and, and he answered your questions across the board. There's Marjorie says, I'll catch you later tonight. Melissa says, I've never seen prices so high. Yeah, they are very high. So how high are they, and can they get worse? Okay, so I just said I'll tell you bad news when I can tell you bad news. The price of wheat and grain, Wall Street is analyzing that'll go up another, probably 38%. Because they said it'll go up another 40% about 2 weeks ago. It has gone up more. So I think that price of anything wheat or corn can go up about another 35% plus in the next few weeks. I think it can get a lot worse. Can the price of gasoline go higher? Absolutely. It's 112. It can go to 120. It can go to 135. Yeah. I don't want to scare you, but I think it can go a lot higher because I don't see a solution for it at the moment. No one has found the solution. I know the solution, but they haven't done the solution. This is the way you get the solution is you flood the world markets with more oil, and that's not West Texas. That's not Texas oil. That's Iranian oil. That's Venezuelan oil. You need to flood the markets with lots of oil. You need to ramp up wheat production. And that's, subsidizing farmers in the United States, getting farmers in other countries to ramp up production of wheat and corn. And that floods the market, brings down the price of the wheat. One thing I've not said in this video for a while is that the farming industry has gotten smaller year after year for almost 20 years. Less farmers every year. If there was ever a time that the White House should use its wartime powers by executive branch, Joe Biden, to ramp up production of wheat and corn right now, I would have done this back in October. It takes a little while to plant the crops. I would have done that right away with the existing farmers because I see this as a big problem. And so thank you for that great question across the board. Let me jump back into the live chat. And hit me with your hardest, best questions as we wrap up a Big Afternoons LA broadcast live on air. Let me jump in the live chat. Ooh, there's a lot of people in here. 321 for eggs. That's crazy. Ugh, Tom, and a lot more than that here in LA. So Mary, great question. Mary is asking about rent, and she reached out to 6 places in Louisiana. What do I do next? Oh, so Mary has a great question. And I like that Mary's in Louisiana because it amplifies the situation, amplifies the question. I think I'm going to end with this one because it's a really great question. So Mary says, I'm trying to get basically check C. That's what she's saying. I'm trying to get check C. I'm a renter and I live in Louisiana. What do I do? Check C, remember, you're going to reach out to those 6 places. So she got the 6 places. And she said, no luck. What do I do? So, number 1, she's a member. Remember, if you're a member, you got more than 6 places. So open that newsletter and reach out to the nonprofits. The nonprofits give you more than 6 places to reach out to. It's about 15 plus places to reach out to. So make sure you do the nonprofits. Now, in the case of Louisiana, I got to tell you, I've done Louisiana on this channel through the hardest times of the pandemic, 2020, where there was not a lot of money around. Let me tell you what happened. Nothing in the city, nothing in the county for a lot of viewers, Louisiana. And then the state housing authority, a lot of money. So in the case of Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama, I had a lot of problems with people finding in 2020, not now, but in 2020, money at the city, county, state levels, but a lot of money at the state housing authority, WHMO. Not at the state, but the state housing authority. Now, in the case of the nonprofits, they've been great for Louisiana. Nonprofits have absolutely been wonderful for Louisiana. So that's why every time that there's a member who refers to Check C and says, I reached out to one place, I said, you're a member. You got 15 places to reach out to, approximately, maybe a little bit more. A member who says, I reached out to 6 places. Have you reached out to the 15 plus places? Because guess what? You only need 1 to pay the money, and you're ready to rock and roll. Thank you for joining me for the special edition of Afternoons LA Live on Air. If you liked it, jump in the live chat and tell me you liked it, or send me a private message saying I liked how you did it today, and I'll do it sporadically throughout the next few weeks and days. Tonight on News LA, we have a breaking news report at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's a 1 hour special broadcast. It's about 1 hour from now. I want you to not miss that show. Then we go into Evening's Countdown, Evening's Extra, and Stream Stimulus. Remember, if anyone jumps in any of the live chats tonight and says, no one answers my question, tell them he was live on air on Afternoons LA. And tell them to go watch the show because their questions may have been answered as well. Stay informed, stay focused, but remember to become a member. The link's at the top of the chat, pinned comment. Become a member. Newsletters Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, delivered via the YouTube alert system. Stay informed, stay focused. Hope you have a beautiful day. The wind is picking up right now on set. I hope I don't blow away like Dorothy in Kansas. But stay informed, stay focused. Stay here, stay pouncing. You deserve every check. Get it across the board. And stay with LA for more.